Today we're going to find out exactly how much income you need to live comfortably in the different Raleigh, North Carolina suburbs. We're going to start with the very most affordable suburb, and that is Zebulon, North Carolina. Now this is about 30 minutes to the east of downtown Raleigh. It's about 45 minutes or so to the airport, and a lot of people overlook Zebulon mainly because of how far out it is and how far out it feels. It's very rural. It doesn't have a lot of built out shopping and dining options. It's more of those mom and pop shops. But what it does have is a lot of new construction at a great price. The median home price is about $350,000 in Zebulon. Now, if you were to put 20% down, and we assume current interest rates, which are about 6.5% right now, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance would be about $2,100 a month in Zebulon. And lenders want to see about 30% of your income spent on housing, no more. That puts us at right around $85,000 of income needed to qualify. Now, if you're a single person earning maybe $40 or $50K a year, keep in mind, the median home price is $350, but we got houses that are $300 and $250 in Zebulon. Number 2 on the list is Clayton, and you might have come across this suburb in your research. There's about 30,000 or so people who call Clayton home, and Clayton is a real hotspot, has been in recent years for young families and also for retirees. There's some really nice new developments in Clayton, and the median home price is still only $357,000. You might want to check out Flowers Plantation, a massive development, shopping and dining and restaurants, all built into the community. Now, a good chunk of Clayton is not in Wake County, so you don't get Wake County schools. However, you will find that the schools there are still generally well regarded. And you're still about 30 minutes to downtown. However, you're pushing 45 minutes to an hour to get to the airport and to RTP. If you don't know, RTP is Research Triangle Park. It's where a lot of our main jobs are. So if you plan on working there, some of these outer suburbs might not be worth the long commute. But similar to Zebulon, this suburb is very affordable and in line with the median household income in the US. You only need about $85,000 a year to qualify. Next on our list is the town of Wendell. There's 9,000 people who call Wendell home. The median home price here is $396,000. However, I have time and time again seen new construction pop up in the lower threes. More recently, I had a young couple who bought their first house. They got a 3-bed, 2-bath, brand new construction with a 1-car garage in a great development near downtown Wendell, and they got it for $302,000. Even though prices are higher here, I do think that you get more of that lifestyle. You're a little closer to downtown and to the airport. You're a straight shot into some of the other suburbs, which have even more options to choose from. There's a little bit more going on in Wendell, and I think that's definitely the path of progress over the next few years. That's going to be one of the hot spots alongside Clayton, where people look for affordable housing. In Wendell, your average housing payment is going to be about $2,400 a month, and a lender will want to see about $97,000 of income in order for you to be qualified. And that brings us to Garner, number 4 on the list. This is the suburb directly south of downtown Raleigh. And if you were a young person, working professional who was working in downtown, you wanted to be close without paying downtown prices, this is the suburb for you. 34,000 people called Garner home, and the median home price is $422,000. So we've made a decent jump from the first 3 suburbs with Garner's prices. Here in Garner, you'll have mostly older houses, but we do have newer developments popping up on the outskirts, especially in between Garner and Wendell. There's a nice little development on the east side of Garner, which has all sorts of new shopping and dining. It has your Panera Bread and your Target. And what I do like about Garner is there's definitely a lot more things to do. You're a straight shot into downtown, about 10 minutes or so. You're only about 30 minutes from the airport, so much more convenient commute times. In Garner, you'll need about $2,600 a month to cover your housing payment, and lenders will want to see about $104,000 of income. Number 5 on our list is Rolesville, North Carolina. It's a tiny suburb sandwiched in between Raleigh and Wake Forest if you were to look on the map, and there's about 10,000 people there currently. Rolesville is one of the fastest growing suburbs in North Carolina, and for good reason. The median home price is $462,000, but you get a lot of house in Rolesville versus other parts of the triangle, and you're still very, very close to downtown Raleigh. You're a straight shot onto 540, which takes you to the airport and to RTP, and within about 5-10 minutes in all directions, you have shopping and dining at your disposal. There's a lot of new construction popping up in Rolesville. It's kind of the new construction haven if you want to be on the north side of Wake County. You're also relatively close to Falls Lake. It's a beautiful lake with trails and boating and fishing and swimming. The typical housing payment is about $2,800 a month, and lenders are going to want to see about $114,000 of annual income. Now, the next suburb that we're going to cover is called Fuquay-Varina. And this may be the first time you've ever heard it pronounced correctly, especially if you don't currently live here in the Triangle. Fun little fact, Fuquay and Varina used to be two different suburbs. They eventually decided to get married, and they've been happily married ever since. And it's no small suburb. There's about 40,000 or so people who call Fuquay-Varina home. The median home price in Fuquay-Varina is also around $460,000. It's also a hotspot for new construction. However, it's getting increasingly harder to find affordable new construction in Fuquay-Varina, as new construction houses are typically exceeding $500,000 at this point. We're still at about that $2,800 a month payment, and you're going to need about, again, $114,000 in order to qualify. Now, why is Fuquay so popular? Well, one, they've done a good job at putting things to do and shopping and dining in the heart of Fuquay, but on top of that, you're about 10 minutes from Holly Springs. We'll discuss that suburb later, but there's a lot more to do there. And this suburb has blown up a ton in the last 10 years as people have sought affordable new construction on the west side of the Triangle. Number 7 is Knightdale. Knightdale is the first suburb directly east of downtown Raleigh. And this is also like Garner. This is a older suburb with mainly older houses and some new construction on the outskirts. The average home price here is $484,000. And that brings us to about $3,000 a month for PITI, and you'll need about $118,000 a year in order to qualify with a lender. If you were to go find, say, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that was built in the 2000s or the 1990s, then you might only be paying somewhere in the mid to upper threes. Now, what's nice about Knightdale is they've got a great downtown. They've got your Target and your Walmart. They got your Panera Bread. They got your gyms and all that sort of stuff. And just like Garner, you are about 10-15 minutes from downtown, and you're about 30 minutes to the airport. So it's a pretty convenient location. If you want to know more about the schools in Knightdale versus the other suburbs, I made a video discussing the school ratings throughout Wake County. You should definitely check out that video. I'm going to link it above. Make sure you watch it at the end of this one. But you should know that Knightdale definitely does attract a lot of families. There's a lot of parks and trails. They do a good job of promoting kind of the amenities that families would want. So whether you're looking for a new construction home that doesn't have you 45 minutes to an hour outside of the city, or you're okay with an older house that maybe needs some work and you can get it at a really good price, then this might be the area for you. Next on the list is Wake Forest. Wake Forest is one of our largest suburbs. There are 51,000 people who call Wake Forest home. And this was originally the site of Wake Forest University. They have since then moved on to another location over in Greensboro. But I absolutely love Wake Forest. It's so green and luscious. Everything's kind of spaced out. It has kind of its own vibe to it, I'd say. Some of the developments on the west side of Wake Forest have immediate access to the lake, and I think that's really cool to have nearby recreation for you or maybe for your kiddos. There's a lot of trails and parks, and I think that draws both a lot of families and young people who want to stay active. Wake Forest is very suburban. There's a lot of established neighborhoods with HOA amenities here. You do get a lot of house for your money here in Wake Forest, but of course you have the option to go with some of their older houses and get that for well below the median home price. And what's nice about Wake Forest is you're a straight shot down into downtown, and you can still get to the airport in about 30 minutes. Your typical housing cost is about $3,100 a month, and lenders will want to see around $126,000 a year of annual income. Moving along, we have North Raleigh. This is not an official suburb of Raleigh. However, if you look on the map, you really have North Raleigh and then downtown Raleigh. That's pretty much it. So I definitely want to separate those two out because they're very, very different. North Raleigh is very suburban. There's no new construction except for teardowns, and every now and then a small lot of land gets built on, and usually those are $1 to $7 million homes. What I love about North Raleigh personally, living there and investing there, is that Not only is it very suburban, so it's a good fit for families, it's nice and peaceful, but it's also just very central to the triangle. So I'm about 10 minutes or so to the airport, being in Northwest Raleigh. I'm also about 10 minutes or so to downtown. I can get to RTP in about 20 or 25 minutes, and I'm a straight shot into Durham. To the south side, you have North Hills, which is kind of like our second downtown. It's the newer, sexier version with all the nice established upscale shopping and dining. You'll also find in your research that the schools here in North Raleigh are pretty competitive, and that's also something that families here love. Now, single family homes in North Raleigh can get pretty expensive, especially near North Hills. Homes can easily be in that $600,000 to $1 million range pretty quickly, but on the low end, you may find homes in the upper threes. Across the board, it takes about $3,300 a month to afford living in North Raleigh, or $133,000 a year of income. Another not suburb of Raleigh that we definitely should discuss is called Brier Creek. And I guess you could wrap this into North or Northwest Raleigh, but Brier Creek is definitely kind of a community of its own. It is directly north of the airport. So if you want quick access, maybe you fly a lot for work or something, then Brier Creek is definitely for you. The heart of Brier Creek has a master planned community on a golf course. So if you're wanting top-notch HOA amenities and you're okay with paying the premium for it, then for $600,000 or $700,000, you can get into Brier Creek. Now let's talk about downtown and how it's different in terms of what it costs to live there. Obviously with downtown, you're near all the action, right? You have the best food, you have the best shopping, concerts, hockey games, all that is right at your doorstep. You might be surprised by how pricey our real estate can get downtown, with the median home price being about $800,000 for single family, and it can easily get into the multi-million, especially with all the historic homes that we have fetching top dollar. And then the rare new construction that is built, whether it's a townhome or a condo, will fetch easily $1 million plus. Across the board, it's about $3,400 a month for your average housing payment, or $138,000 a year of income to show for it. Now, if we look at those numbers again for just single family, that's about $5,000 a month, or $198,000 a year. All right, next on our list is Morrisville, North Carolina. This is to the west of Raleigh and as close as you can get in Wake County to Research Triangle Park and the airport. So in terms of proximity to those two things, which drives a lot of our real estate prices, this is why Morrisville has a median home price of $557,000. It is a highly desirable place to live for families, but mainly working professionals who want a 5-minute or less commute. So you're not dealing with traffic. You're also insanely close to pretty much everything that you'd ever want to do, including your real high-end shopping. And because of all the job opportunities that are right at your feet, the median income in Morrisville is insanely high. And so even though the typical housing payment is about $2,800 and you need about $120,000 a year of income to show for it, a lot of people in Morrisville who land jobs in RTP have no problem paying that because they get the best schools, they get the best jobs, they're near all the things to do, and that's why Morrisville is such a popular place to live. The one thing you won't get a lot of there is new construction, and that is the case for our next suburb, which is Cary. Cary is perhaps the most desirable, most well-researched suburb of Raleigh. There are 176,000 people who live in Cary. This is our largest suburb here in the Triangle. The typical Cary resident pays about $3,400 a month for PITI, and they need to show $135,000 a year of income. Now, if that number sounds high to you, I don't disagree with you, but there are way more people who are willing and able to pay those kind of prices to live in Cary than there are houses to buy. There's no big developments that are being built driving down prices. It's not happening here in Cary. So you're getting an older house that, yes, is nice. It might have an HOA master plan community, but it still might have been built in the 90s, and still it's going for $630,000. But if having new construction or something that wasn't built in the 90s or the early 2000s, if that's important to you and you still want to be on that west side and still have access to the great schools, then I'd push you to go towards Apex, and that's what a lot of people have done. Apex is definitely one of the fastest growing, has been one of the fastest growing suburbs here in the Triangle for that exact same reason, because there's still new construction there. You'll need $3,600 a month to cover your housing payment, and you'll need to show $144,000 a year of income. There's 62,000 people who live in Apex, so clearly a lot of people are okay with that. The commute in Apex isn't horrible, but it's nothing like Cary and Morrisville, so a lot of people in Apex work remotely or they work hybrids. And if you're in that position, then great, because you really don't need to leave Apex. It's really becoming the next Cary, and I can't stress that enough. So they're building all the nice shopping centers. They have a Costco. They have the master plan communities. There's also a lot of townhome communities popping up in the 4s, and there will come a day when Apex eventually gets built out, just like Cary, and people have that same complaint of, I need affordable new construction. And that's why they've already started heading to our final suburb, which is Holly Springs, where the median home price is $600,000. And there's a lot more single family developments going on in Holly Springs than there is in Apex, because there's even more land to go around. Even though that median home price is higher, you are definitely getting more house for your money here. You're more likely to be able to afford a single family house versus a townhome or versus a resale home. You're also still getting really good schools. You're getting all that shopping and dining and all those amenities that we mentioned earlier in the video for the people in Fuquay-Varina. And if you're on the north side of Holly Springs, you're basically in Apex. It's kind of hard to tell them apart at certain times. You'll still have a pretty reasonable commute that most people won't complain about. If you're on the very south side, borderline Fuquay-Varina, then yeah, you're gonna feel like you're kind of out there. You're gonna have that up to 45-minute commute that a lot of people are trying to avoid. But all in all, Holly Springs is a really great option on the west side of the triangle, and that, my friends, covers all the Raleigh suburbs. And of course, I understand that there's so much more to choosing a place to live than just affordability. I make a lot of videos here on the channel about not just numbers, but the lifestyle, the pros and cons of different places to live in and around the triangle. So make sure you check those out at the end of this video. And if you're ready to make a move and find a house, then just call the number at the bottom of the screen to get started today, or click that free consultation link in the description, set up a time to chat with me and my team. Thanks for watching. My name is Benjamin Carver. I'll see you in the next video.